Hello everyone and welcome to part 2 of the breakout game tutorial. So in this video I will show you how to create the background animation for the menu page. So let's create a new B4J UI app. Let's call it background animation. So we will need for this example a B4X canvas. So let's create it. Let's create also a timer. We will also need a weight and height variable. So let's use VPW VPH as float. This is something that I learned from NDMC and Flappy Bird example, and I use it until today for every game I make. So instead of always calling main form root pen weight or main form root pen height, I can just store it once on this variable and then just call those variables. So we won't need the button and also not the button event. We will also need to break the timer tick event. So let's create an integer called frames as int. So now we will draw all our stars on a background panel. We can create this panel by code or add it via the designer. So let's do it via the designer. We should also first change the main form weight to the same weight we have in our game. So let's change it to 840 by 420 and do it also in the designer variant. Let's create a new variant. We can delete the button. Let's set the background color to black and add a pen view. So it's basically a panel in before A or before I. Let's give it a name like stars PNL and create a member as a B4X view and save the layout. So that's it. Now let's set the VPW and VPH value. Initialize the canvas with our stars panel and also initialize the timer. Timer event will be the same as the timer name. Interval will be 60 frames per second, and let's enable the timer. Okay, now we will create a timer event, a timer tick event. So what we can do is just, if we type sub and then click the space bar button and then click on the tab key, B4X will give us a menu with all objects where we can just choose what object we want, and B4X will show us all events that belongs to this object. So if you don't remember the event name, you can do it like this. And now we only need to change the event name. So that's it for now. So here we can increase the frames value on each tick by 1. We will need this for the animation later. So what we need is move the stars, and also we need a function to draw the stars. So let's add those events. We will also need to clear the canvas on each tiny tick. We can do it like this: clear rect and retarget. Correct. Now what we will need is a star object, so it will be a custom type object. So let's create one called stars. It will have a X value, a Y value, a color value, a Y speed value, and an alpha value. Now let's create a new star object. We'll create it for now in Process Globals, but when we will create more than only one star, we cannot do it like this. But only to demonstrate you how it can work, I will create it for now here. So let's initialize our star. Set the X value to the center of the screen. Set the Y value under the 0 line, so above, outside the screen. So it will be minus VPH multiplied by 1. So basically, if this is our screen, okay, the top left corner is XY0, and the right bottom corner will be X840 by Y420. So it will be the largest X value and also the largest Y value. So it works like this. If you go down, the Y value increases, so this is the Y-axis, and if you go to the right, the X-axis gets higher. Okay, so this is XY0 and this is XY840 by 420. So if we write here minus VPH multiplied by 0.1, it will be somewhere here, so above, outside the screen and under the 0 value. So we need to set the speed. Let's set it to VPH multiplied by 0.008. Let's set the alpha value. I will set it now for 255, and let's create a random color value. Okay, now let's move our star like this. We change on each timer tick event our star Y value by increasing the Y value with the Y speed of the star, and we draw on each tick event the star to our canvas. So let's do this. Draw circle, star X, star Y, the radius of the star, star color should be filled, and a 0 work weight. So now we should have a single star falling from the top to the bottom of the screen in the center, the x-axis. So let's see. So you can see it is working. Now we can create more than only one star with a event, so with a function. Let's set the amount. So now we cannot create the star, we cannot set it as a process global variable, so we need to put it here inside our create star function. So we can do it in a loop for I to 0 to amount -1, and we create a new star. But now we have to store those stars somewhere, so let's create a list. Let's initialize the list, and we'll add the star to the list, star list, like this. Let's create on our app start 25 stars. So here we can see that unknown variable star, because we don't have it anymore as a global variable, so we need to loop through our stars list like this. So for each star as stars in star list, so this should work now. Let's do this also for the drawing. Okay, now let's run our program and see what we have. We have a single star because all stars are created in the center. So let's change this by giving a random number between 0 to PPW, and let's see what we have. So we have here stars that are created and falling down. Now what we can do is we can create on every 10 frames a new star group. So we can do it like this. If frames modular, will use the modular function mod 10 is equal to 0. Let's create a new star group, but not 25, so let's create only 5 stars. Okay, so let's see what we have now. Now we have a nice rain of stars. Okay, but the problem is that we always create new stars, but we don't delete stars that are already outside the screen, and the star list size is getting larger and larger, so we can check our star list size in the logs and see what we have. So as you can see, it's getting always larger and larger, and we don't need to draw stars that are already outside the screen, right? Because it's only will affect our performance. So what we can do is we can loop through our stars list like this. So we can do it for I stars list size -1 to 0 step -1. So it will go from the last stars object to the first stars object. And now we can check the Y position. So if let's get the stars. So dim star as stars equal to stars list get I. Now we'll check the stars Y value. So if stars Y is bigger than the height of the screen, we can remove it from the list. We don't need it anymore, and we won't draw it anymore and not move it. Remove it. I. Else we will increase our Y position like this. Okay, so now let's see how our stars list size is not increasing. You can see it stops by 70 stars, and this is much better. Now if you noticed that when we start the app, we all stars start from the top corner, okay, and falls down, but it doesn't look really nice. So on the start app we can create the stars inside the screen, and only new stars should be created above the screen. So what we can do is we can add a value here, a new variable, a boolean, only on top as boolean, and when we create new stars then it should be true, but on app start it should be false. And now we can do something like this. So if, then it will be outside the screen, else it can be anywhere in the screen. So let's do a random value 0 to ph. Now if we start our app, all stars are immediately drawn everywhere on the screen, and it looks much better. But you can see that we don't update our alpha value, and this is something that is still missing. So how can we do this? So what we need to do is we need to update the alpha value in our draw stars function, something like this. So let's say that if the star alpha is 0, then star alpha will be again 255, and here we will decrease the star alpha. So star alpha is equal to max star alpha minus 5 and 0. So what this method does is it will check what is the higher value between both. So if star alpha minus 5 will be lower than 0, it will return 0, else it will return this value. So it cannot be lower than 0. And the next time that we will loop again, so the next timer tick, if star alpha will be 0, it will then change to 255. So now we only need to update the color with the new alpha, and for this I found a nice function in v4x com forum. I think it's from Klaus, if I remember correctly. So we just need to update the color with the new alpha, and now it should be exactly as in our game. Let's see. Yes. What we can do is also on the when we create our star, we can set a random alpha value. So here you can see that each line has the same alpha because all are created on the same y-axis, and this is why it looks a little bit weird. So let's update this little value like this, 0 to 255, and now it should look much better. We can compare it with our game. So it looks really similar. So this is how we can make the background animation, and with this technique you can do a lot of animation for a lot of apps or games. So basically we are creating a canvas, we are creating a list, a custom object, and in our timer event we are clearing the canvas, we are moving our object, and we are drawing it to our canvas. And like this we can get really nice animations. So thank you for watching, and on the next video I will show you how I create the animation for the title of the game in the menu page, and also for the like button. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next tutorial. Bye.